Welcome everyone to tonight's Super Ship Showdown. This evening we have 4 fights that you won't want to miss. The seas are a tough place to be. Crews of all skill and sizes will give us the chaos and mayhem that we excite for every day on the deep dark ocean. For the first contest of the night, we have a big, terrifying Group of 5 galleon headed straight for our smaller vessel. We needed to hit them hard and fast because we knew these guys meant business.
We're coming into this fight, boys. We will leave them in.
Quickly, the large, confident galleon approached. We had to land perfect chain so that the mast would come crashing down and the ship would come to a sudden halt. We sent boulder after boulder, cannonball after cannonball, and somehow the tough, resilient galleon managed to stay afloat. We kept applying pressure and kept showing no mercy. The galleon was on the ropes, and it was only a matter of time before floating was no longer an option.
And I'm back. And they're gone. Yep. Alright, first thing of the day.
Looks like we're going to play Valorant. Enjoy your night,
Hey,
boys.
appreciate it, boys. GG. Have fun at Valorant.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
The galleon crew lasted as long as they could. Even though they were defeated, they held their heads high and greeted us with a subtle but wholesome goodbye as they ventured on to their next journey. We sold the rest of our winnings because our journey was just beginning. For the second contest of the evening, we have a sneaky but intelligent sloop that begins to squirrel a little bit intimidated. We see past the intimidation and look to take the Reaper 3 flag that they achieved. As we approached the sloop, they began playing mind games by shooting off a series of fireworks to maybe make peace and become Reaper friends, but we weren't having any of it. We wanted bloodshed, we wanted the glory, and we wanted server dominance.
They really are gaming.
Come here, boy! There's galleons gonna
Holy
We pummeled them time after time again, hitting almost every shot into what seemed to be a hardened concrete hull. The sloop acted as if it was a cannon sponge soaking in our supplies. Also joining in on the fun was the scaly galleons and sloops from the fleet. They had anchor balls and rigging balls for days, making it difficult for both parties.
Really?
They were outnumbered and outmatched from the power and determination that we had as a crew. Unfortunately for them, our hot streak continued as we put the finishing touches on another victorious contest.
And they're done.
Before we could collect loot, we needed to try getting rid of these pesky skelly ships. Wouldn't it be embarrassing sinking the PvE? With the loot from the sloop and fleet on board, we arrived at Reapers for our biggest sell of the day. The sloop put up a courageous fight at the end, but numbers showed to be too much. 2 servers have now crowned us king. A galleon and sloop now lay waste at the bottom of the ocean by trying to step in our path through the seas. We now move on to what chaos awaits.
Somebody before the damn. I don't think we sank those last.
For the third contest, we have a Reaper 5 brig that is fighting and showing no mercy on an emissary that's located in the roar. Quickly, we buy supplies and begin heading that direction. The brig crew are starting to become quite the match. They hit both chain shots on the opening engagement, while also hitting a fury of cannonballs. Suddenly, we noticed one of their crew members on a rowboat trying to bring a mega keg aboard our ship. We needed to make sure that keg was nowhere near our vessel, as it would do tremendous damage and would cost us big in the contest. Finally, the players were sent to the ferry, and I extinguished the mega keg before they could get back to it.
Bomb has been defused.
With the brig being laid to rest and precious cargo floating in the unforgiving seas, we began to collect once again for our third sink of the night. We hit Reapers to sell our loot for precious gold, and then we were off to our last adventure.
no.
Yeah, they're
Come on.
guys had to be
For our final contest of the evening, we have a Reaper 2 emissary doing the Fort of Fortune, and for this mission we all agreed that we were gonna be sneaky and attempt to tuck on the unaware Reaper. So we grabbed our tuck outfits and began heading to the fort. We managed to make it aboard the fortifying galleon, but quickly we were spotted by Mr. Napoleon in the blue suit, so frantically we had to dart off the ship and try to find a new spot in the tower. We waited for the perfect moment so we wouldn't be spotted by the somewhat aware gamers again. This was our only chance. Our ship was far away, and any knowledge that we were still here would be crucial for us getting our precious Athena loot. It was time. Jolly noticed a keg that was still on the island. He grabbed it and bolted to their ship to try and gain access to the crow's nest. Suddenly, one of the crew members from the galleon started climbing up our tower. It was Mr. Napoleon, the same lookalike French leader that spotted us the last time. Something must have spooked him. Maybe it was a mermaid, or maybe he seen Jolly jump from the tower. We were on thin ice and had to be careful. Luckily, Mr. Napoleon did not find us. Finally, the Ashen Lord had been defeated, and the vault began to be opened. Now surely a crew that can sustain a Reaper 5 caliber flag wouldn't put Athena kegs in the crow's nest, right?
Yep.
all destroyed. Absolutely destroyed.
We began grabbing the fort loot and putting it on the rowboat when suddenly every single player on the galleon got a backspawn. This had to be a bug, as the ship instantly sank and 5 minutes had passed since the sink occurred. Nothing like this had ever happened before. We scrambled to get the ship back and chased the galleon down.
25 years.
What was that backspawn?
I just grew up,
Bro.
had children, and sent them to college.
How did you get a backspawn that...
They
About 5 minutes had passed, and we were on the galleon's tail. Unfortunately for us, they had already loaded up the rowboat and attached it to the back of their enormous vessel. Our shots had to be picture perfect, so we didn't destroy the rowboat and dump all of the loot into the sea-dwelling void of an ocean.
I don't know how it did.
And there we were, side by side with the big old galleon. It had to be us or them. We began firing off a rally of chain shots that were as beautiful as you could imagine. One by one, each mast lay on the deck. The ball was now in our court, and we had to finish the fight. They began to send boarders, and once the boarders were taken care of, I decided to do a little boarding for myself.
Good one. The other. Later, boys.
With a valiant effort from the galleon, they came up short. One by one, we picked off each member of the galleon. As the dust settled, the loot began rising to the surface, and with no more lucky backspawns, we claimed victory.
Let's go.
There wasn't much, right? Ashen Skull and a few.
Today we hoisted a 4-0 record above our heads, from the confident but wholesome galleon early on, to the scared but ready to game sloop, furthermore to the skilled brig who tried to make a play, and lastly the lucky but determined galleon. We had an amazing evening on the seas, and we hope you did too. Please like and subscribe for an episode 2 of Super Ship Showdown.